This week in the enterprise security news, a new open source tool helps discover public Azure blobs. A new Eclypsium integration with Kenna.VM has been announced. Armis raises $125 million. Okta launches its new open source design system. Enterprise Selfie Biometrics solutions from Ping Identity. Bitglass announces technical integrations between SD-WAN providers and its SASE offering. Cisco AppDynamics strengthens security posture. RSA NetWitness Detect AI claims to provide advanced analytics for actionable threat intelligence. Jetstack Secure delivers protection and visibility of machine identities. Obsidian SaaS security solution now available on the AWS Marketplace. And SentinelOne Acquires Scalyr. In the second segment, we welcome none other than HD Moore from Rumble. In the final segment, Kelly Mack from Workbench joins us for a discussion on Workbench Ventures. Stay tuned for all that and more in this episode of Enterprise Security Weekly. This is Security Weekly, for security professionals, by security professionals. Broadcasting live from G-Unit Studios in Rhode Island, it's the show where we talk security vendors and aren't afraid to name names. It's Enterprise Security Weekly. As your attack surface stretches from the data center to the cloud and the device edge, security teams need visibility across it all to confidently detect and respond to threats. Experience frictionless hybrid security that helps you stop breaches 84% faster with ExtraHop's Reveal X360, the first and only SaaS-delivered network detection and response. Explore the interactive demo at securityweekly.com/ExtraHop. Face it, your data is everywhere. No matter where your data lives or what tools you use, Imperva Data Security unifies compliance, security, and privacy needs for any data store while saving you time and money. Imperva finds threats before they become a compliance or security incident, and built-in automation empowers you to remediate quickly. Give your business confidence about what is happening with your data, where it's stored, and who's accessing it. For a 30-day free trial of cloud data security, visit securityweekly.com/Imperva. Welcome, everyone, to Enterprise Security Weekly, episode number 216 for February 10th, 2021. I'm, of course, your host, Paul Asadorian, joined remotely by Adrian Sanabria. Adrian, welcome.
Hey, thanks. I barely made it today.
You decided to go for a walk before the show. It's good. Exercise is important.
It was an unplanned walk.
It's an unplanned work. We don't like the unplanned work when your car breaks down, Adrian.
Yeah.
Mr. Tyler Shields is here with us. Tyler, welcome.
Howdy, thank you. I, unlike Adrian, have a car that actually works.
There you go. It's good. It's a good thing to have. Do you want to stay in the loop? All things Security Weekly. Please visit securityweekly.com/subscribe. You can subscribe to all of our podcasts on your favorite podcast catcher. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, sign up for our mailing list, and join the Discord server, all on the same page, securityweekly.com/subscribe. If you've missed any of our previously recorded webcasts or technical trainings, they're available for your viewing pleasure at securityweekly.com/on-demand. And now, on to cover the verbal diarrhea that often results in the enterprise security news. Not all the time, but sometimes I would tend to use that horrible term to describe some of the enterprise security news. Is there a particular, never mind, a particular story, that you guys would like to start with?
I would like to start with the Cisco AppDynamics strengthening security posture while achieving peak app performance. Why does this sound like somebody took a pre-workout and decided they wanted to be like a weightlifting bro or something with that headline? I've achieved peak app performance.
Oh, but
gains.
you gotta
gains.
You gotta read
gains.
You got to read the whole article, though, because it will tell you even less. But it will say things, but not really tell you anything, which is just terrible. It's terrible.
But it's just press releases. Like you were saying at the beginning of this, press releases tend to, go for that kind of language, and I hate it. I don't understand it. Like every time I was in a position to write a press release, I absolutely refuse to do that.
Well, I think you probably would have written it like this. And I really want to believe this. I really do. I'm an eternal optimist. in our field, because maybe I haven't gotten old enough to quite reach the curmudgeon level. But they do say, built natively into the AppDynamics platform, users benefit from reduced alert fatigue, real-time threat detection, and automatic breach prevention. They literally said automatic breach prevention. I mean, if that worked, why wouldn't we just get that and not worry about anything else? I mean, automatic breach prevention. What else do you need?
Get swole, get big, get huge, right? That's what that's claiming. I mean, the reality of this one, the reality of this one is they pitch by value. They're talking about the values, but they're not giving you any of the how, which makes it completely worthless.
That's a mistake.
Anybody can
Huge
pitch
mistake.
the value. Yeah,
a huge mistake. So, if any of us see that and cover it on the show, it's a huge mistake.
At least put one or two. At least put a paragraph on how. Right. At least say like, we've implemented process detection that's tracking at a fundamental level down to syscalls on the host or something. Right. Give us some meat.
I don't think AppDynamics is a bad product either. I mean, we're poking fun at the press release. I don't think it's a bad product. Cisco bought them 20 years ago or so, right?
No, I think it's actually a fantastic product. And not only is it a fantastic product, but it's perfectly positioned to do a lot of the value things that they're claiming in that press release. But they're not telling us exactly how they're getting there. And that's why I'm making fun of the press release. Do I believe they probably do it? Yeah, I think there's a good chance that they do. But to what degree and how is always the question. So, on things like this, I would just tell the audience, make sure you double click and dig into exactly how it works.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, if you go through classic product management, like almost academic, exercises, one of the things you'll do in creating the pitch statement, is you put it together block by block. You say what you're doing, and there's always a by clause, like we're doing this by, doing, and there's some explanation there, and maybe it's because you can't explain it in a statement or a sentence.
It's hard to articulate the how in that kind of stuff, right?
But I think that's part of the challenge, though. I think it's worth spending the time to get that pitch down to a point to where, your elevator pitch isn't just here's the problem statement and we magically make it go away. Fit the how in there as well. And in most cases, I think it's possible.
I think the best content sits between that about how press release level and some kind of demo and or, in our case, briefing, right? Like somewhere in between there, you have to explain how your product works without going, I want a full demo, right? They're skipping that step in the journey. They want to go to, reduce alert fatigue and real-time threat detection and go, I need that. Let me get a demo and see how it works. That's an incomplete journey in my not so humble opinion.
We should do a whole show where we take some examples of this and we fix it.
Ooh, and that's a great idea.
Yeah, it is a great idea. Well, because as Tyler and I said, AppDynamics is actually a really good product. I've heard really good things about it. So
yeah, it's a great product. I think the biggest problem is that most of the time the authors of these press releases don't know how it works. They don't. Yeah. They just don't understand it. All they know is I'm supposed to talk value prop, so I just spew value prop, and you're supposed to then come in based on that. And it probably works 80% of the time. I have that pain point. I'll at least call you. Right.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to pitch to anybody with any technical acumen, you gotta double click in there.
The RSA NetWitness AI provides advanced analytics for actionable threat detection. Was another, just all it is buzzwords. But I really do want to believe it that RSA NetWitness Detect AI applies cloud scale processing for behavior analytics and uses unsupervised machine learning to detect and respond to threats without manual oversight. That's not as horrible if you digest what that means. It's a lot of words in one. At least they did call out that it is using unsupervised machine learning. That's a step a little more into the weeds than the AppDynamics announcement. But I don't believe it till I see it. Right? Like you can say all those things, but I need a demo and maybe some more meat before I go get a demo. Right?
I'm sorry, I fell asleep while you were reading the headline. Which article are we talking about again?
RSA NetWitness.
No, I was kidding about how buzzwordy it was.
But NetWitness, I don't have any recent experience with it, but I have not heard great things about it, unfortunately. I don't know.
I mean, NetWitness was an awesome tool back when it was focused. I have not seen it at all in the last 10 years since RSA.
It was an acquisition.
RSA strategy.
It was an acquisition. I might have used it pre-acquisition.
And it was kind of like Moloch. It's this awesome tool for analyzing and scraping through packet captures and finding stuff in packet captures. So awesome full packet capture tool. I'm sure that's still part of this platform thing that they're building at this point. But RSA's strategy has been so hard to follow over the years because it used to be a big platform with SIM at the center. And that seems to have disappeared. And I don't know what it is now.
I think this is part of their threat
and this
hunting.
didn't help me understand what it now is.
Yeah, but I think this is part of their threat hunting platform. Now that I think about it, I do know people using it.
So XDR?
Would we put this under XDR? No, for threat hunting, and using it very effectively for that.
So it's not XDR?
They're not calling it XDR. That was last week on PSW? We tried to define what XDR was?
Yeah, everything is XDR. Literally, like, everything is XDR.
Yeah, I thought XDR was like threat hunting on top of your NDR and your EDR.
You're just I'm a buzzword overload now.
I watched that. I watched that episode because I wanted to know what XDR was, and I'm not sure anyone really came to a definitive definition on that PSW.
Oh, we didn't tell you we're leaving it to you, Adrian.
Shit.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. That's for damn sure.
Well, so we're going to do a product review on that category. So I will have to do it eventually.
I can't wait to see that report. That report's going to be super valuable because I've been in this industry 20 plus years, and I sincerely don't know the difference between all these DRs.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be. I'm super excited to dig into it.
Where are we going next?
Hey, Paul, how about the Armis funding?
Yeah.
$125 million funding round.
And they got a $2 billion valuation. Which is that like double? Is that like double unicorn status?
Yeah.
Like double secret probation? Is it like
there is Decacorn? That's a thing, right? Decacorn.
Is that $10 billion?
$10 billion valuation, but I don't know what a duocorn. I don't know.
Duocorn.
But the thing that caught my eye in that article is it comes 12 months after their last funding, which was at a $1.1 billion valuation. So somehow in 12 months, they've either grown enough revenue or spewed enough sales material to investors to double their valuation from $1 billion to $2 billion in 12 months. That's absolutely amazing to me.
Wow.
And they have a total of $300 million invested on a $2 billion valuation.
And what's the market cap for, like, are they considered IoT security?
Yeah, it's an agentless device security platform is how it's billed. 350 employees based in Tel Aviv and Palo Alto. And I get a lot of pitches from the investment side of what I do. I get a lot of pitches from Israeli companies. And it's crazy. These guys are getting $5 million rounds over there with a team and a dream, just an idea. So the valuations are just so astronomical. But 350 employees, the valuation to employee headcount's just crazy for this valuation. But Insight isn't stupid. They've got an exit idea for it, whether it's IPO or finding somebody else to hold the bag. Who knows? But
and the team at
Armis, fun to
watch that one. The team at Armis is super sharp.
Yeah,
it's a great team over there. I've caught up with them a couple of times at various conferences. It's an amazing team.
We need to have some kind of background that every time there's a new unicorn born, we can put up a splash screen or something that shows a unicorn before we talk about their valuation. But if we did that, we'd be on every episode, so it would lose its zest.
It's true.
So would you put them in the same category as Eclypsium?
No. Adrian's updating the spreadsheet.
I'm trying to get
live on the show
during our show.
Working in real time, Adrian. Way to do it.
There's others in that space, and we'll We'll update the spreadsheet after the show because I can't think on the top of my head.
Feel free to chime in on Discord.
Yeah, good for them though. They got something special, and I believe that because when I've met with the team, I was impressed. So with both the technology and the team. So
there's some crazy good founders coming out of Israel, right? I mean, the technology is just stellar over there. I've actually met with a founder this morning out of there that I'm impressed with the growth in the technology. But yeah, it's the same kind of scenario, looking for a $5 million A round with 5 people and no revenue,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, some of the VCs out there, they can do that pretty confidently because, they take a different tact. They will build a company from the ground up. They know what people they need. They've done it enough times. They know what category, what market to go into. They know how to position it. They just need the people. So yeah, it's. I think they're still pretty shrewd investments. But yeah, it's just a different approach than we see like Silicon Valley VCs.
Adrian, you mentioned Eclypsium. So
I did.
They've integrated with Kenna.VM. The integration enables Eclypsium firmware security data to be imported into Kenna.VM, where it's combined with real-world threat and exploit intelligence to advance data science to determine which vulnerabilities pose the highest risk. I think it's a smart integration, to be honest with you, because I think that one of the things that enterprises suffer from that Eclypsium is trying to solve, and I think in some light fighting an uphill battle, is the security of all of the different subcomponents inside of all of your technology. And how should those be prioritized? And in some way, you really don't know that until you can mix it in with the same algorithms that are looking at your other vulnerabilities, right? And that's why I think this is a pretty cool integration.
Right. I think it's essential. Because, the whole problem, I mean, they're not just vulnerability management. Kenna's whole point is to prioritize. And, the best prioritization can only happen if you have everything that you need in one place. And that includes firmware level vulnerabilities and issues. So, yeah, I mean, from day one, the value of vulnerability prioritization play is going to be the integrations. Where you can pull and normalize data from. So it totally makes sense.
And you think about all the different subsystems, and I was telling you about the computer I built. I mean, it's amazing.
Also, when did Kenna break out their product portfolio? It's the first I've seen Kenna.VM. I see they now have Kenna.VM, Kenna.AppSec, and Kenna.vi, which looks like just the vulnerability intelligence piece. Which sounds pretty cool.
Well, at least they didn't call it Kenna.Emacs, because then I'd have to take issue with that.
We need a soundboard. We need some sound effects.
We do. Oh, Enterprise Selfie Biometrics. I think that's one of the coolest terms ever. Enterprise Selfie Biometrics. Like basically, from what I gathered from it is that it to do the facial recognition. And match it with like the photograph of you on file. You take a selfie of yourself, and it does the comparison. So
it's face recognition, but they can't call it Face ID because that's trademarked.
Probably, or hello, maybe. Right. Microsoft.
I mean, it just looks like face matching. Like I don't know why they're calling it selfie biometrics. Are they targeting millennials?
Yeah. I think it's totally a marketing term, but I like it. I'm like, I don't want to use facial recognition. That sounds scary. I want to use selfie biometrics. I like that because then it makes me feel it's fun. I'm taking a selfie of myself, right? That's what I mean. I like taking self. Do you guys like taking selfies of yourself?
No.
Do you have what's your IG?
No.
I'm terrible at it.
No, not at all.
My kids laugh at me when they see me attempt it. Like, Dad, what? Dad,
you got to make sure you hold it like 2 feet above your head.
Dad, not like
you got to be way up high.
Yeah.
There's a whole like art and science to taking a selfie. And you got to do the duck face and hold it really up high and lighting and yeah.
I'm sure that shit just got screenshotted. Oops, sorry.
When
we got a thumbnail.
There you go. There's the album art cover for this episode. Make a time marker.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Okay. On to the next story.
That went down a rat hole.
I did not expect that story to be that. You never know what to expect. I also realized that I don't know if RSA is a sponsor or not, or if that's official or not. So I hope I didn't mean to speak ill about their product either. So
did you
just
see
one
in
last
that article? So one thing before Adrian gets his one last thing. Did you see in that article about the selfie thing? It actually does liveness detection through short video analysis of facial gestures.
Yeah, so it takes like a short video. Yeah.
To make sure you're alive, you have to move so that you can't just hold it up against a photo or something like that. That's kind of cool. I hadn't seen that before.
I'm pretty sure Apple does it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure all modern facial recognition does that, because when it first came out, I remember other hosts on the show were like, "Oh, I just defeated that by taking a picture of myself and holding it up." Yeah,
but I think you're right, Tyler, because what I've seen other approaches to make sure it's a 3D face and not a 2D photo. What they've done is most of the phones have to have some kind of infrared sensor or something that gives them depth perception.
Second camera sometimes.
Yeah, so they're not actually using video or motion, if I'm not mistaken, for improving the facial recognition there. They're actually using more of a 3D model, getting some kind of depth perception on the face. So yeah, that video approach, looking at motion, might be something that's new. And my one last thing was just going to be that this is something that A16Z, Andreessen Horowitz talks about a lot, but the consumerization of the enterprise, where we see apps like Slack and things like that moving into, and smartphones moving into the enterprise. I think we'll continue seeing features that come out into consumer space first and make their way into enterprise. And I think this is an example of that.
You mean like Clubhouse, which doesn't run on Android yet, which I'm really upset about.
Yeah, that bugs me. I got a bunch of invites.
I got people who want to send me invites and I want to do it, but I can't because
I'm using it on my iPad, which they don't have an iPad app, so you get that like little iPhone app square in the middle of your big iPad screen. So,
did you have to do you have to have a phone number to get invited? No.
I don't think
Apple
so.
ID maybe?
Not that I recall. I don't have an iPhone, and I was able to get it on my iPad, no problem.
Oh, interesting. I'll have to do that.
I might have had to give them a phone number, but it doesn't have to be the phone number on that device.
I gotcha.
The day TikTok invades the cybersecurity landscape from a marketing standpoint is the day I retire. I quit. You heard it here.
You don't want to have to do any dancing?
I am not dancing, bro. Not going to happen.
And you don't want to like a snap finger and change outfits and do a dance kind of thing? That's like every TikTok video, right?
You did that with your kids. I want to see that video, Paul, because I know you have
did. My kids do it, but they don't let me be in there. They don't want me in their TikTok videos. Get the old guy out of the TikTok video.
Same.
Right?
Same. Yeah. I've not been. Now, my youngest has mentioned it, where she'll show me a video and she's like, "Oh, Dad, we should do something like that." Because occasionally you see dads doing stuff with their kids.
Right.
And I'm like, "Oh yeah, we totally should," and then we just never do.
Yeah, just conveniently never do.
Right.
Works for me.
Yeah.
A couple more stories. Jetstack Secure delivers comprehensive protection and full visibility of machine identities. So they say they cover public trusted certificates for Ingress TLS, as well as private certificates for internal workloads using MTLS across a service mesh. This one actually explains the use case anyhow, right? It doesn't necessarily define the problem. I gleaned that from the announcement because it's really hard to manage certificates when you're doing an application that is going across microservices and cloud native environments. If they can help with that, they're going to do well.
Yeah, I'm starting to see a lot of passwordless approaches where they're using machine identity. Basically, instead of entering passwords, put certificates on all your things, and we'll just passively authenticate them that way.
Right, but then you have to manage and update those certificates.
Yep.
And dynamically be able to put them on applications that are spinning up,
And not even applications, but every instance of every workload has to have its own identifier for kind of that service mesh model that's all the rage.
Yeah, or an elastic computing, We've got increased workload, so spin up more. Actually, they were talking about how Clubhouse was doing this. When Elon Musk did his Clubhouse, when he was doing something, they can spin up rooms of like 5,000 people, and they would spin up another room. That's exactly what we're talking about. That's some kind of service mesh / elastic, computing kind of thing.
Yep. And then they break down those applications into the individual service meshes, and so that they're in the individual workloads, and they put it into a mesh model. So if they need more service X to support 10 more Clubhouse instances, they can spin them up, flip them on, and off they go.
Yep.
Probably lots of containers underneath that, right?
Oh, sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Usually, yeah.
Containers, Kubernetes, OpenShift probably, or some, maybe Pivotal, or some kind of, even on AWS with just an infinitely scalable model horizontally.
Mm-hmm. Obsidian, speaking of AWS, their security solution is available in the AWS Marketplace. This is a great team. Ben and company, a great team over at Obsidian. And they protect against account compromise, insider threats, access misuse, data leaks, excess privileges, and weak posture in SaaS applications. At least they can articulate what they do fairly well, I think.
Ben's from Carbon Black, right?
Yes, correct. Ben Johnson.
One of the original Carbon Black founders.
Yep. Yeah, we interviewed him a while back.
Yeah, he's a great guy to chat with.
Absolutely.
And is that the Obsidian being in the Marketplace article that you're referencing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. The Amazon Marketplace is an interesting thing. That's basically just a conduit for payment. That's all it is. It's the announcement's kind of like, all right, that's great. You can take payment through Amazon.
Yeah. I just use it because we hadn't talked about Obsidian in a while. So
we like Obsidian, we'll prop them up.
Yeah.
A lot of companies I've talked to consider it just another place to market their product, to get it in front of eyes. They say they don't get a ton of revenue through it, but just being there is just another place that somebody can discover your product, your offering.
Yeah, with few exceptions, I think you're right. I've done it with a few companies, and JupiterOne just put ours in the Amazon Marketplace as well. We just got launched. We didn't do a press release on it though. But there's some companies that generate significant portions of their revenue through Amazon Marketplace, but it has to be specific to like cloud need, and Cloud Zero, Eric Peterson's company, is generating good portions of revenue through that because they do cost analysis, right, and help you understand how to decrease your Amazon costing. So it makes total sense that their leads will come through there.
Sleeping on those press releases, man. I can help out if you need it.
Yeah.
You want to get writing for me? I'll take them all day.
You don't have to write them. I'll just copy and paste from the ones we covered and put them in your press release.
Actually, I'm just going to use Obsidians and just do a grep replace for JupiterOne.
There you go. Like I said, I thought they did a decent job of describing what they did in one sentence, which, as we've already established, is not easy. SentinelOne did make an acquisition of Scalyr to revolutionize XDR and security analytics.
Revolutionize? Really, guys?
There's some bold claims. They state the autonomous cybersecurity platform company announced the acquisition of Scalyr, a leading cloud-native, cloud-scale data analytics platform. And with it, they'll be able to ingest, correlate, search, and action data from any source, delivering the industry's most advanced integrated XDR platform for real-time threat mitigation across the enterprise and the cloud. Buzzword bingo, they're scoring pretty high. I think they can say bingo.
If it's not going to turn the industry on its head, I don't care. I don't care about it. Right, Tyler?
That's a good one,
That's right.
Tyler. I would hire Adrian to write your press release.
Dude, help me write it. I don't know how to be a marketer in any way, shape, or form.
Aren't you CMO?
Shh, don't tell anybody.
Oh, okay.
I fake it. No, that's a pretty good exit for those guys. $155 million exit. That's a solid exit on $28 million in funding. It's not the astronomical Uno, Duo, Decacorn exits, but it's healthy, and those guys will get to pocket a little bit of cash on that.
And it's interesting that SentinelOne has reached that momentum, that size where they start making strategic acquisitions.
Alrighty. With that, we'll take a short break, come back. HD more coming up next. Stay tuned.